Russia illegally sold Ukrainian grain. A scheme of one of the deals was disclosed by the Financial Times journalists by tracking a route of one ship from the port of Berdyansk, Zaporizhia region, to the final buyer in Turkey. A shipment of 2,675 tons of grain was formed by the state grain company in occupied Melitopol in August.
On August 13, the occupation authorities of Zaporizhia allowed the export of a shipment of grain through the port of Berdyansk. 2 days later, the grain was loaded onto the Syrian-flagged bulk carrier Powell. It turned off its AIS transponder before passing through the Kerch Strait toward Ukraine and turned it on again on the way back. This allows us to suspect the dry cargo ship was loading in the Russian port of Kavkaz, located in the strait, but not in Ukraine, from an article of Financial Times.
The journalists of the publication suggest that the cargo was sold in the Turkish port of Hopa on the border with Georgia. It was found out that in order to sell stolen grain, on May 15th, the occupiers created a company called State Grain Operator, the head of which was businessman Nikita Busel, the owner of 2 hotels and a network of coffee shops in central Russia. This company is accused by Ukrainian businessmen of capturing grain that belonged to them and buying crops at low prices under the threat of confiscation.
They concocted a government, and then they concocted this company as well, claiming it would handle grain purchases. They seized our storage facilities, and now they're doing their so-called business activities there. The farmers have no choice, either hand over the grain or it will be taken from them. Manager of the agricultural business, which had been located in Berdyansk before the invasion, in an interview with Financial Times.
Ukrainian farmers report that Russia mainly sells stolen grain to Syria, Turkey and Iran. According to them, first the grain is taken by trains and trucks from the temporarily occupied territories to the border with the temporarily occupied Crimea. There the grain is loaded in the port on ships, or the agricultural products are transported further to Russia.
Of course, these ships stand under the flags of different countries. Moreover, when the grain is already transferred there, in fact, there are already forged documents for this grain, which say that this grain is not from the Kherson or Zaporizhia regions, but that it is Russian grain. Moreover, when it comes to the ports of Turkey, they say that this ship left the territory of the Russian Federation, for example, from the port of Kavkaz, and in this way they legalize the stolen grain, which today is roughly stolen.
Experts say the Financial Times has clearly demonstrated how the illegal trade works and how various Russian agencies have cooperated together to cover up private companies and ships. In practice, according to their words, it is difficult to prove that Russia is selling stolen grain.
They always have the opportunity to cover themselves with fake documents. In fact, for us it is fake, but they are made as it was from the original document of the ports from where it was falsified. So what happens, this is on the conscience of those who buy. I think this has all been recorded before. I think the time will come and there will also be sanctions against these countries.
According to preliminary calculations of the Ukrainian Agrarian Council, Russia has stolen Ukrainian grain in the amount of more than $500 million. Denis Marchuk stated that the majority of these colossal funds were used to support the Russian defense complex. In other words, the aggressor country sponsors its military actions in Ukraine with this money. Reported by Roman Smoler, Victoria Sinko, UATV News.